Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Canyon. Welcome back to the State of the Canyon, the weekly update, the first weekly update for the month of October in the year of our Lord 2023. We begin this episode with an airing of self-grievances, which is grievances against myself. I know how Fridays work. I get up, I roll my arthritic body out of bed, and I know that after I eat whatever it is that I eat for breakfast, it's time to go film the weekly update, and I usually go right at it. And this morning, when I arose, and I put on my shoes, and I stepped outside, it was there. The feeling was there. A feeling not of dread, but of existential dread. A dread that has there's no concreteness to it. There's no solidity to it. But it's there, lurking, and I have felt that dread before, and it was the bicycles. And it has nothing to do with making YouTube videos. It has nothing to do with playing with toy cars or making videos about toy cars. It has everything to do with, I have made the half tongue-in-cheek reference in the past to don't make your hobby a jobby, and I'm making my hobby a jobby. I don't mean about the making the pittance from the inscrutable entity that is the algorithm that drives my ability to have videos seen by others and scrape in that Google AdSense revenue. I'm not ashamed or afraid. I didn't read that close when I signed the digital disclosures on AdSense, but I don't think that there's any NDA rolled in there. I get about $450 a month on AdSense. I upload a video every day. In between the wrenching and the building and the quick viewing and course building and everything else, I would say I average about 5 hours a day is what I'm doing on the hobby stuff with the YouTube integrated, right? So 5 hours a day, let's call it 30 days a month, 150 hours, $450. I make $3 an hour is what I make. So I don't look at it like that because I don't look at this as a job. It is a jobby at worst and a hobby at best. And I am trying to keep it as a hobby. And there are things inside of that, mostly that come out of here, that make me crazy town. Which is, I feel like I have obligations that probably aren't there. When I have a rig that isn't finished, like 20 is still sitting over there and it's still not painted. And it bothers me. But the guy who sent it in has never said word one. He's never been like, are we going to get done with that thing anytime soon? I wish that I could embrace that sort of laissez-faire philosophy. But instead, I will let it sit and I will let it bother me. Because it's gotten to a point where it's going to bother me. And then that just spreads out. So I am not a religious person by any means. I won't go into my stand on religion of any kind. Let me put it this way. You've seen there's we got the elephant guy out there. We got a Buddha out there. I got a Buddha in here. I got a Jesus in here. I've got more than one Jesus. I've got a solar-powered Pope that his hand is supposed to go like this. My mother-in-law got me that. And the solar-powered Pope sits right next to this good luck cat. I am a fan of religious iconography, but I'm not religious in any way. That said, Ecclesiastes 3, verse 1, everything has its own time. And there's a specific time for every activity under heaven. And I am going to make every effort to embrace that. Honestly. Because I need to live by that a little bit more, which is when a rig build is done, it's done. And when I'm going to quick view something, I'm going to quick view it. And when that's done, it's done. And I want you to understand, no one, I speak of the royal ones, no one has said to me, when are you going to do this? When are you going to do that? Why haven't you done this? Why aren't you going to do that? No one has said that, but it foments and it ferments in my brain nevertheless. I'm instigating subtext where there may be none. So we're gonna do what we don't do. Ordinarily today, I would break down what we've done and what we haven't done. Let's do that for this much time. 22 and 23 are done. Their finale episode is tomorrow. You'll get to see that tomorrow. So it's a combo. It came from the Workbench. They are being packaged up to ship. They will be gone right after the holiday. To anyone who inquired about anything from the ploffering that was on Wednesday, if I haven't gotten back to you, I will get back to you as soon as possible. Save for one, the gentleman who wanted the axial Trepidors, they're gone already, because he said, can I get them? And I said, yeah. And he said, how much is shipping? And I said, $8. And he goes, cool. And he sent me $8, and I put it in a padded mailer, and they were gone. The Jetco Adventurers are gone. The GT5 is gone. The Mudslingers are gone. There's a handful of things that are gone. In stark contrast to what has happened in the past, the Adventurers have been sitting in a box in this workshop for over 2 months. And several people said, oh, I will send you this for it. And I sat and I waited and nothing happened. And then somebody said, I will send you this for it. And I sat and I waited and nothing happened. Finally, someone said, I will give you this and this for this, this, and this. And they're gone. They're going. They're in a flat rate box right now, ready to go to their forever home or their next home, whatever it may be. And those are off the table. It's mostly the junk stuff. There's a couple sets of beadlocks and whatnot that are still available. But it's that the stuff that everybody seemed to be hot for, the GT5 and the Adventurers, those went, the video went up at 2, and by 2:05, those were gone. So there's that. So I don't know if there will be a weekly dumb this week. There will be a junk view on Monday. Because why I don't know if there will be a weekly dumb this week is disingenuous at best. There will absolutely be a weekly dumb, but it's not going to happen on Sunday. I mean, it might. I might just re-edit it and put it up on Sunday, but we're going to do it right now. This is the weekly up dumb, and we're going to do what I consider to be the dumbest thing that I can conceivably do. As I just spent the last 2 hours, just over 2 hours, moving rocks and raking and picking up mess and trimming bushes and trees. And you know what? It was wonderful. To not be filming when I was supposed to be filming and to be doing something else, it feels like you're playing hooky. And my form of playing hooky was I was doing course maintenance. So yeah, the elevator might go to the top floor, maybe, but the top floor is an asylum and it's filled with crazy people. So welcome to the asylum. You're all here now. You can check out anytime you like. But I can never leave. So, a weekly dumb. What's the dumbest thing I think I can do? I can go back to a point of utterly abject frustration. I can go back to something that I regard to be in the top 3 most frustrating / disappointing RC products I have tested yet, in stark contrast to what other channels may have said. This is not the real thing, but it will have to do as a stand-in because the original is gone. The Proline Mickey Thompson Baja Pro X is actually quite good. And we had a tire that looked identical to this, and it was the RC four-wheel drive Baja Pro X, which was just awful. Absolutely awful. It would have scored like a 6.2 as a junk view, which is, you know, that's a 1.5, basically. So this will be the stand-in for that. The third worst thing that I've tested. The second worst thing still resides right here in the box, the ISDT ESC70. I still, to this day, get comments where people are saying, oh, you should try it again, or you did this wrong with the firmware. Guys, come on. Be a clamp with me and get a grip. This is a $25 speed control that I would not give to an enemy. That's why it's still... Look at this. You'd think I'd never used it. I could not in good conscience give that away. But it resides in the number 2 spot because it's $25. It's absolutely frustrating and is no better than an SC480X, which, as we know, is the worst RTR speed control in the world. So what holds that number 1 spot pretty much forever and ever, never to be unseated? Why, it's the Boom Racing Hustler MT. Why? Because I paid $35 a pair for these, and there is a laundry list of Junk View tires that have done significantly better than these. They are still fitted with the included dual-stage foams. They just stay mounted to these TE37s. I leave them on here as a reminder to myself. So as I finally did, I printed out little, it's under the clamp. I printed out little Junk View cards. The Hustlers. We are going to properly Junk View the Boom Racing Hustler. It predates the current testing format by quite a lot. By the way, if this were a quick view, and as you know, we go from like 5 to 9.9. It's a 5. It's a straight 5. I recommend it to absolutely no one. Period. Hands down. I would say if you have an XL5, I would say if you have an SC480X, stick with that. It's that bad. And I have tested a factory fresh one. Someone went so far as to send me one, and it did no better. The performance improvement was not negligible. It was imperceptible. It performed exactly the same, with one caveat. I would say the drag brake actually got a little bit worse. So these, the only hope the Hustlers have is that maybe oxidization of sitting. I think I have mentioned in the past, or I've said it to someone who was here. You know how in a bar they have the premier liquors, the top shelf? Well, as you know, the tire rack here is large. It's closer to the ceiling than it is the floor, the very top of it. So I keep the worst on the top because they're more difficult to reach. The best tires are in the bottom 2 rows. That's where the unused tusks are. That's where the unused ruptures are, deep woods, etc. Good stuff at the bottom. I'm making a gesture out of frame. Good stuff at the bottom, bad stuff at the very top. And the premier location up at the top is for the Boom Racing Hustler. They reside immediately adjacent to the JD model Trepador, the least grippy tire I have ever encountered in my life. And it's a shame, too, because these were a good-looking tire, and they predate Baseline. So Baseline has never gotten to run them. Maybe he can use some of his magic and wizardry. My expectations are below 0, and I have absolutely no ability to be objective about this. They're so bad. They are so bad. Disclaimer, they have been treated with Monster Grip tire additive, tire conditioner, which does change the rubber a little bit. Will that make a difference? I don't know. But we're going to find out. What a way to spend a Friday. I couldn't think of what else to do. The idea of filming and just walking around and be like, oh, I moved this rock over here and this rock over here. I didn't want to do it. So we arrived. If you could, okay, watch. Watch the back tire. You see it spin, right? Any other tire, If we put any other tire and did that to this, it would slide this old desk blotter. It would slide it right back. Even with Susan on it, it would slide it back. These have... They have no grip whatsoever. So let's go out and prove it. It's on a card. I don't have to wipe it off the whiteboard. And then I'm going to take this and like staple it up somewhere as a reminder. Ooh, the junk view board. Ooh, that sounds fun. Let's go outside, everybody. Let's do a junk view. Maybe in the background you'll be able to see stuff that's been done this week. I had a fantastic week of obstacle building. That was the highlight of my week, honestly. I made an effort to touch RC cars as little as possible because sometimes you need a vacation from your vacation, right? Let's go and just hate on these tires. Let us begin, as we do at Slick Rock. I'm strangely looking forward to this. The Boom Racing Hustler in the, I want to say the 4.45, just call it 4.5 inch, in the 4.5 inch size. They come in a couple different sizes. It just, you know, it never fails to fail. Pay most attention to what I call slip backs or fallbacks, where it will make some forward progress and then just fall back down. We're at about like 80% throttle. See, this size is also really quite narrow. We managed it. I had initially wanted these tires for the Gate Rover, who is now the Ghost Rover, because I was hoping that a tire with a little lower height would help with with present CG issues. And you will notice, like, it made it to the top. But the low speed traction is just so poor. The positionability, and mind you, this guy has a mountain of steering angle. But low speed we have nothing. You can't make the rig go anywhere that you want it to. Like, the flat ground performance is reasonable, but your breakover is terrible because I don't know if it's the side. That's a dual stage. They're 4.5 and they act shorter than a class 1. Yeah, the positionability is now refreshed in my mind as potentially the worst that I have seen on any tire. And because of how flimsy they act, your breakover is atrocious. And we're talking here, this is a test of forward drive. That's what Slick Rock does. And in a test of forward drive, there we go. See, here we go. I can just set this down out there in frame. It's not going to go anywhere. To give this a 6 would be overwhelmingly generous. I can't give it a 5 because it made it, but I can unquestionably hand out a 5.5. So the test here, if this is indeed a test, is to find out that persistence of memory. Are they truly as bad as I remember them being? I mean, yeah. The directionality is almost non-existent, and they have a fairly prominent side lug. There's no mechanical interference. You see, whoa, whoa, whoa. I mean, it's a zero confidence thing. They have so little forward drive, but then paired to that forward drive is an absolute lack of positionability. Look at the angle, the steering angle I can put in. Look with me, shall you? 20 degrees of steer angle, dead straight. There's no confidence to these. I was at probably 75% throttle when we got through there. So again, the Boom Racing Hustler is going to be successful in almost never getting itself a 5. But my God, it has, how about right? Oh, you know what? I'm gonna give it a 6 for that. That's worth half a point right there, 6.0. Look at this, I can write them down and not forget anything. But my God, the traction profile is an abomination. It's an atrocity. It's several other A words. I have some dim recollection that despite their lower height, they did really badly on side hill. And I think it's because lateral grip is so bad. I mean, any uphill, so any up angle steering input at all just swings the rear end around. And any down angle steering input shifts weight to where you're just going to roll out. There's no grip at all. I mean, they're so bad. This is a dual stage foam. There's nothing holding him right there. Nothing. There's a lip that the passenger tire is behind, passenger rear. It's genuinely kind of impressive how, if head to head, this tire against just a foam, the foam is going to be significantly better. I felt a slide where I felt like it was going to roll out right there. That should be impossible. I feel like I never actually said it, but the side hill is a 5.5 at best. There's no confidence. There's no confidence. It honestly, it's not just the complete lack of forward drive and the complete lack of positionability. There are times, do you see what, there's a lip that back tire is trying to pull up that is a ramp, like an angle, 1.5 inches tall. It couldn't get up that. It's unbelievable. It's not just lack of grip. There are moments where it feels like the tire is actively working against you. The trick to this is to get into the notch above the notch. Right there, right there. It's unbelievable. Like, I can look at it now with some sense of still disbelief. Like, I have some sense of separation. Like, the money was spent so long ago that I don't feel that anymore. But unbelievable. So this is kind of a defining moment in the junk views. As that 5.5 at the notch, which is, the 5.5 is now kind of, to me, just recently, in the last few minutes, established as, you did it, but you did it in such a way as to, that, like, you should be given no reward. There's no reward for that. Simply passing an obstacle through sheer force of wheel speed is not passing an obstacle. I might. With the based on my knowledge of the absolute lack of positionability, I don't see any chance. I don't see any chance of making Daphne's on. Okay, let's just go soft side. No. They were this the first time that I had tested them. And say someone had sent them in and I hadn't bought them myself, I would still be in just utter disbelief. Like, when the JD model were as bad as they were, I was right there. What? I mean, like, what are we doing? Boom Racing calls it like the snail slime compound or something. It's supposed to be like their stickiest, and snail slime is slick. I need people to know, if you don't know, snail slime is not sticky. That's a hard thing to say. Why? And B, why? Like, this is up there with other questionable names for hobby-related products. Why snail slime? These have so little grip. This surface was freshly cleaned, and we will see. Okay, yeah, there's no chance of getting this. Let's see here. We got to give it there it is. That's the Boom Racing Hustler that I know. The bump score could almost be decent because it does bump pretty straight, but that right there. There's not just a surplus of traction, there's no available traction. It will just slide back down whatever you have managed to make progress up. We'll get hack here. Hack here. Oh, you did it. You did it. Pulled it out. Pulled it out. Pulled it out. It was going to have a 5 at Daphne's. And it's... come on. Come on. Come on, you can get a 6. Come on. Come on. You can do it. Come on, it is there. I'll give it to you. No matter if you crest it, you get it. It's so bad. That's a 5.5 at the third, and I'm gonna give it a 5.5 on the bump too, because it can bump, but it's just gonna take it away from you. So let's see if it even has enough grip to. I can't get up the side. I did it. Yep. This is all, it's all falling back into place. We'll get a belly first look. So. It's so bad. It's so bad. Hey. There's the first one. So it needs more soft. It needs a little bit of something to bite into. We can't give it a 5.5, much as I would love to give it a 5.5. 5.5 on Daphne's third, 5.5 on the bump. Self-right, I'm going to give it a 6. We're going to go all the way up to a 6, which leaves just one aspect left to test. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Are you ready to close this with some comedy? It's time for Slick Rock Wet. I misjudged placement when I set the tripod down and put my finger right across the front of the lens, so let's hope that it's got a filter on it, so it's not the straight lens. Let's hope that doesn't, cleaning it with my t-shirt, let's hope that doesn't have any long-term effects. Like, what am I doing? I do want to kind of flip it every time, straight over to the roof, every time. So to be truly fair, the self-right score should actually be worse, because it won't even put you in a rightable position most of the time. It's going to land upside down like 80% of the time. Booyah. All right. We're just going to hit the cruise control, right? I mean, it's as bad as it gets. There's almost no difference in like I'm watching that like 4 aft shutter of that That's wide open. So let's do the opposite. Let's show the fusion abilities. And I mean, can you smell what the 5 is cooking? All right, so that 5 turns one of the 6s into a 6.5. So that's 5 at 5.5, which, if my math is right, is 27.5. Yeah, and then 2 6s and a 5 is 17. So that's 27, 37, 44.5. And we do 8 things. 8 goes in there 5 times. And then 8 goes into 45 5 times. Hey, what a surprise there. Which is 40, and then 8 goes into 50. Oh, it's 556 with a bullet. Which means technically we should have to, and we will. Total average. So the total was 44.5, average 5.6 after rounding. Boy, that is a tremendously kind rounding, bringing that up to 5.6. I think 5.6 is honestly Let's get them a little blacker. I think, I honestly think 5.6 is generous. And mind you, this is junk view scoring. In quick view scoring, I would honestly, I would go so far as to classify this as a DNF. Like, I don't think these deserve a score, because in the quick view terminology, where I like, basically, if it's below a 7 average, it's absolute garbage and should be junk view scored. You know, if we move this 5.6 into quick view scoring, yeah. DNS did not score. DNF did not finish. And here's the beauty of it. Here's the beauty of the Hustler, which is we actually get a little bit more shutter there, and then we can do this. Like, I have no worry about reaching for the wheel. Nothing is going to happen. It's amazing. It's amazing. It is truly the benchmark for how terrible something can be. It is the tire that I think of when anyone says, because I know, somewhere out there, someone has driven these and they've either worked or they've worked well enough for that person to think, hey, these are okay. And maybe in a vacuum, if you have nothing to compare it to, but I use this as the something to compare it to. These are worse than JD model Trepadors, which are as hard as rocks and smell like the tires on a Walmart bicycle. I mean, just in terms of pure performance, ignoring the fact that what is spinning before you is, I want to say it was either $33 a pair or $34 a pair. So it's $66 or $68 worth of tires in front of you right now doing this. It's almost unthinkable. But here we've thought it and we've thunk it and we've weekly dumbed on a Friday. We're going into the holiday weekend. I guess this is still regarded as a holiday weekend. I don't get mail on Monday, so that makes it a holiday. Going in on what I constitute as a high note, genuinely, because these tires are so bad. It's not that they come back around again to being good. They are the objective worst. But if you start on the objective worst, how can you go worse than the worst? Anything else that you do, you feel like, hey, this was pretty successful because at least I didn't boom racing hustler it. And that's something to ride the high of. So if you've got a ploffering offering, if you've got a rig here in the canyon, anything like that, everything in its own time, everybody. I'm going to get to it when I get to it. Sometimes I just feel like building obstacles. Sometimes I feel like doing stupid stuff. Sometimes I feel like playing Death Stranding, which is still, I've got like 35 hours into that game now. It is the weirdest game I have ever played, ever. You're a mailman in the weirdest post-apocalypse ever created. It has some of the most infuriating terrain that has ever appeared in a video game, and I am going to make an effort to replicate some of that terrain on an upcoming little mini obstacle. So whether you want to see that or not, we're going to cover it. That's going to come up in the next coming week. There's some stuff coming up. We'll get back on track. Got to get up and back. Got to get right on track, because that's what's going to get you back. And I will see you all in the next one. I invite you to comment below, drop a like, subscribe if you haven't. Do consider a channel membership if this is the sort of madness that you appreciate. We are all over the place. Every day is not the best day. Everything is not awesome. But sometimes we do all right. So I hope to see you all in the next one. I hope that there was enough bring up to counter the bring down. We'll see you all again, hopefully very soon. The Boom Racing Hustler here on the weekly updum, the dummening on a Friday. A generous 5.6. I hope you have a fantastic weekend, everybody. Get out there and wheel. And in between now and when we meet again, please, one and all, do your very best. Have a good one, everybody. We will see you again very soon.